T20 cricket these days. It's a game of data, it's a game of matchups. Will a leg spinner function well versus a right arm batter or an off spinner versus a lefty? This is important in T20 cricket and data analysts are there with various teams. We are joined with Gaurav Sundaraman, another data analyst who works for the ESPN Cricinfo, has been part of many IPL franchises in the past and also a part of the 2016 T20 World Cup winning team of the West Indies. So today he is joined with us to talk about data in T20 cricket, matchups, how are they used, the upcoming IPL 2022 season and all. Premiering at 6 p.m. today, feed Gaurav Sundaraman sir. Like, share, subscribe. Hello guys, welcome back to Cricket with Devi and today we are back with another video. This time I am joined with Gaurav Sundaraman sir to talk about different things and he's first of all a data analyst. Uh, uh, he's also worked with ESPN Cricinfo. He works with ESPN Cricinfo and has been part of many IPL teams in the past, has been part of the West Indies winning team in 2016 in the T20 World Cup. So we'll talk about many things with him in T20 cricket, especially how do matchups work and also the upcoming IPL. So first of all, how are you, Gaurav sir? Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks a lot for having me, Arnav. Great to see you pursue your passion and do a YouTube video at such an age. It's extremely heartening. I wish I had all this technology when I was young. So I used to just write scores on in notebooks and try to revisit them or read magazines. So yeah, good to be here.
It's a pleasure hosting you today, sir. So, talking about, sir, first of all, I've worked with different cricket teams in the past, with different IPL teams, and also the West Indies team in 2016, the winning team. So, you've had different experiences there. First of all, can you give us some insight on how does it feel to be part of different teams? And first of all, how is their approach towards T20 cricket? And what used to be your role specifically with them?
So working with teams is obviously very special. You've been watching them for quite some time, and suddenly going and working with them is a special feeling. But having said that, you must do your job. So you must try to provide as many insights as possible, and it should be very logical and very useful for the teams. So each team has structured very differently. Arnav. Some people have it very. Some people believe in data. Some people don't believe in data. There are different kinds of people, so it's a lot of people skills is important. How you understand the person, which person likes to see data, which person doesn't like, all that is important, so you focus on that. And so it's a lot of understanding, trusting a lot of people before you even provide any kind of insights. So there might be player A who's very interested. You might say, he might sit with you for 1 hour and watch all the videos and look at data. There might be player B who's not really bothered at all, who will hardly interact with you regarding this aspect. So that's the nature of a team. Even in like your class, I'm sure you have two different sets of people, so it's exactly like that. So that's the challenge. And yeah, different teams give different challenges, and I've enjoyed that. I've kind of managed that based on my understanding of the individual.
Great, sir. So coming on to how you have worked with different teams and also about that you've studied different players and everything. So coming on to that, you have always like in data analysis and all. So there are different matchups like some bowler averages this versus some other batsman. And also the part of different players, the matchups and all. Uh, you have always analyzed matchups in T20 cricket. So, how do you think what's the importance of matchups here? Because we have often seen how one bowler is heavy over one batsman, sometimes one batter is heavy over one bowler, and some of those matchups, some battles between like the one we saw recently in the India versus South Africa test series, and even we see them in the T20 series. So in the test series, it was between Virat Kohli and Kagiso Rabada in the last test. Jimmy Anderson versus Virat Kohli has been one battle for a long time now. In T20 cricket too, so like many people talk about Dushmanta Chamira versus Rohit Sharma these days, how Dushmanta Chamira has a high over Rohit Sharma these days. So what do you think? How important are matchups, especially in T20 cricket and also cricket overall? Uh, Depending on the mindset, also, how does that impact the mindset of a particular batter or a bowler in a game?
Yeah, it's very important, especially T20 cricket. It's such a short game. In 20 overs, you need to get your wickets. Sometimes, what's happened, difference between Test cricket and T20 cricket is that people play T20 a lot more across the world in leagues, etc. So there's more data available. Whereas in test matches, you play once in 4 years, you go to a particular country. Once in 3 years, you go to a particular country. So many things change. So if say Rabada has been very good against Kohli in South Africa, he may not be that good in India. And by the time Kohli goes back to South Africa again, it could be 3 years or 4 years. So things would have changed by then. But T20 is not the case. I play PSL, I play CPL, I play BPL, and I come and play IPL. That's almost 25, 30 games. I say take a player like Liam Livingston. He has a great record against Rashid Khan. Not many people know that. All the leagues he has played, he smashed it. Uh, so suddenly by playing him regularly, you kind of know that that matchup is something which is favorable to the batsman. Then there are some matchups which are favorable to the bowlers, but these matchups need to be analyzed very carefully. Some matchups can just looking at numbers and saying somebody's got out 4 times doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That 4 times you have to go dive deep and see when was the 4 times, who was the what was the match situation, what was the score. If a player gets a particular batter out for 6 times, assume, and out of which 5 times have been after he scored 50, then that's not really a matchup. You want to see how many bowlers have got a batsman out very early on in his innings. That is what is a true matchup. So um, that is where people need to be a bit careful and use data very, I would say, cautiously, and not just look at numbers in terms of average and number of dismissals to kind of say that this is a matchup, especially in T20 cricket. But what matchup could work more or less is the kind of bowlers, whether you try to take the ball away from the batsman or you try to bowl the ball into the batsman. Those kind of matchups generally work because that is more a technical challenge than a personal mindset challenge.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, sir. And also, when you were talking about whether the bowler turns the ball away or into the batsman, or is the ball coming in or away? Coming on to that, we have observed this many times. Like when a left-hander is there, the captains sometimes are hesitant to give the bowler to, for example, a left-arm spinner, or when a right-hander is batting, they're sometimes hesitant to give the ball to a off spinner. So, how do you think? Like sometimes I personally feel that this strategy is a bit misused, because we have usually seen sometimes even a like a very good bowler, sometimes they are not given the ball because the left hander is batting and he's like a left arm spinner. So I've seen that. So like, for example, in the IPL 2021 eliminator, which is between RCB and KKR, Shahbaz Ahmed didn't bowl a single over, which is a real surprise to me. And a major factor to that was that there were two left-handers batting. So I personally see that this is sometimes misused, and this also perhaps sometimes is a bit it impacts the bowler's mentality too. Like they could think that am I not good enough or like that. So how do you think is this misused a bit, and how what is its importance first of all?
I think it's very much a very good question, and I think it's mainly about the captain. You see, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, I think he follows it completely differently. I remember one season when everybody said Sunil Narayan smashes spinners, he brought in Harbhajan Singh and got Sunil Narayan out. So there are different captains use this differently. So I personally believe that if the bowler is really good enough, he should still be given a choice. But if you have other options, then maybe it's worth trying other options as well. Like if I say if I have an Ashwin or a Chahal in my team, uh, I would not look to go beyond them if they have overs remaining. But if I have a rookie spinner, I don't mind not allowing him to bowl and trying something else. So I think it also depends on the pedigree of the batsman. Like if you look at Nitish Rana, for example, he has a great record against spinners in general. He also has a good record against the likes of Ashwin and likes of other finger spinners. But that traditionally is a matchup. Ashwin was a left-hander, you tend to. So that's why in matchup there are some right-handers whom Ashwin bowls really well to. So I don't think it depends on the pedigree. For bowlers like Ashwin Chahal and Sunil Narayan, I don't think matchups should matter. But for other players, definitely it does matter.
Absolutely. And also on that we have seen like, so another example was like versus Rajasthan Royals in a league game. RCB weren't bowling UCL because there were Evan Lewis and Yashasvi Jaiswal on the crease. So that sometimes I have seen that occurring a bit too much, and like I also sometimes get very annoyed of that. But I guess it's a good matchup. Like if there's a left-hander and if you get in an off spinner, that's good. But sometimes we tend to overuse it when a left arm spinner can't bowl to a left-handed batter. So that's, I personally feel, sometimes a bit misused.
Yeah,
So all Yeah. So sir, also coming to this year's IPL, how do you think about the competition this year? Because we see how teams have been increased from 8 to 10 this year. And also, this is the format of this IPL is a bit different too. Some teams play each other once, some teams play each other twice. So, also coming on to that, how do you think about the contest of this IPL? Will we have a closer contested one? Because I personally guess IPL will be a bit closer contested than the previous ones, because when we look at the teams, I guess the players have been divided in a much more varied way. Because when those same players were being divided into 8 teams, so same what used to happen was, like, there used to be a team with all the good players, and sometimes there used to be a team with like a bit underdogs that way. But this year, what has happened is some teams have a great batting lineup, but then they don't have the best of bowling lineups. Some have a good bowling lineup, but not the best of batting lineups. Some have loopholes in number three, number five. Some have like, there are issues in each franchise right now when we look at it a bit. So how do you think about the contest of this IPL, especially looking at the fact that there are now 10 teams and the talent pool has been divided very deep?
yeah. It's again, I have a different opinion to that. Sometimes, um, if you look at the quality, it can also go very poor as well. If you look at the 2011 IPL, um, I wonder you were just born that time or just 1 year old. So 2011 IPL, if you go the last time it had 10 teams, it was pretty one-sided. You had if you go check back the 2011 scorecards when you have time, there are a lot of matches which were one-sided, and there were certain teams which are not competing enough. Having said that, we can also look at it another way, like how you said, two weak teams could make the match very interesting. And if you notice, the last 5 seasons of IPLs, all the IPLs have been very close.
Yeah.
You, in the sense that till the last day, you didn't know who are the four teams to have qualified. So I think that we may not see this time around. Uh, but yes, all teams are much more equal than previously. It's very difficult to predict the final four. I think it will be more regarding which players available, which team plays their best 11, etc. So even I'm kind of confused, but I think the quality would be slightly on the lower side because it is a much longer tournament, and it's going to be difficult to sustain for so many days if the matches are not close. So for the benefit of the tournament, I hope there are a lot of close games.
Yeah. Yeah, so now, sir, coming on to my last question for today. When we look at T20 cricket in general, we see a lot of hard hitting batsmen, and like how we see T20 cricket is a bit more, I would say, flexible in terms of the batting order of teams. We see that some teams, like, there are floaters, there are batters who usually play at number seven, number eight. They are sometimes sent at number four to just take on the bowling in that manner. And even some batters are talking about matchups. There, some batters are protected from some bowlers at times to just send them later or like that. So, how do you think that plays a role, especially the flexibility in the batting order of teams?
Very important, Arnav, especially in T20 cricket. It's the most important. You need to be very unpredictable. You need to be very dynamic. You need to adapt. There might be a situation where your best player does not even play enough balls. That's how it should be, and that comes only if the team buys into that theory. Before the tournament starts, the coach and the captain need to sit with the entire team and tell them that this is how we're going to play. We're not going to have a fixed batting order. Everybody's going to bat in different positions. Let's take situations uh, and then analyze. If you ask me personally, I never look at batting positions. I think batting positions is kind of irrelevant in T20s. Your number three, number four doesn't matter as long as the situation demands. I'll send that particular batter for that situation. So hopefully it changes that way, and more in the next few years. When you become an analyst of a team, hopefully there's no position.
Yeah. So also, thanks for joining me today, Gaurav sir. It was a pleasure talking to you on T20 cricket on IPL. It was very fun. And also now the IPL is just a few days away. It's gonna be a blast of a tournament, in my opinion. There are many. The sides are closely contested, and Gaurav sir, as he said, it also might be, come down to a bit low on quality, but we hope that's not the case for the betterment of the tournament. And thanks again for joining me today, Gaurav sir. Uh, if you guys like this video, do give it a like, please share and subscribe. Till then, we'll meet you all in the next one. Goodbye. Peace.